In this whiteboard lesson, I'm going to set up a Kanban board from scratch, and we're going to show you how to lay out a number of tasks and then how to use that Kanban board on a regular basis to get progress, whether it's in a project and team environment or for yourself working individually, whether in a personal or professional context, whatever it is that you need to get progress on. And where you have a set of tasks, often they are interdependent. If it's a team of people, often they get stuck and they don't know how to move forward and they need to be organized. And if you're the person that needs to get them organized, you're a project manager or you're a scrum master or you're just a member of a team that wants to contribute and help get that team organized, or you're a mom of a busy family, or you're an individual with a set of tasks, even someone at school or someone studying, anybody can use Kanban boards to be more effective to get work done. So a Kanban board, at the heart of it, is just a visualization of the flow of work from one side to the other side. And where you will start is what's called the backlog. Now the backlog is the complete list of all the tasks that need to happen in this project. And if it's a big project, you may have hundreds of tasks. You need to break it down a little bit, and you need to try and start with maybe 30, 40, 50 tasks at the most that you would have on the backlog over here. And you may have a project plan, and you'll typically have those tasks listed in the project plan. But whatever it is, typically in agile software development projects, that could be a set of features that need to be coded into the software program. Or it could be a set of steps that you need to take to write a book, or to run an event at work. But whatever those are, you're going to put them there and make a list of them somehow for reference to get going with your Kanban board. Then you're going to have mainly 3 sections. I find Kanban boards with 3 sections are the simplest to understand, but a Kanban board can have many different sections and can get a little bit more complex depending on your needs. My advice to you would be, if you're just starting out with Kanban boards, just use 3 simple columns. And that is the to-do column, the progress column, and my favorite, the done column. Very simple. And I've done this on whiteboards, I've done it digitally, I've done it on a wall somewhere where we just didn't have anywhere else that we could put it. 3 columns. Keep it simple. So that's your first column, that's your second column, and that's your third column. So from your backlog of tasks over here, when you get together as a team, and maybe you're going to kick off the Kanban board to start off with, and there's an assignment in this course for you to get a Kanban board going. So typically what you need to do is just understand this backlog here. And then in your first team meeting or the first time you set up your Kanban board, you need to take a handful of these tasks and put them in the to-do column. Now what this means is that, yes, you have to do all of the work on this backlog to complete the whole project. But in Agile, there's a concept of a sprint, where you only take a limited set of tasks and you work those through and get them completed. And then you come back to another set of tasks and you work those through to completion. And that's the same principle here. You're just going to take a set of these tasks to go through in an initial sprint. Then you're going to go through another set of these tasks to go through in another sprint. So the first thing you need to do is to select a few of the tasks from your backlog. Now I've got 10 tasks here on these different colored cards. And a key principle of the Kanban boards is to have these cards. Now you can get very scientific, and there's different software programs to do it. Good old sticky notes work just as well. So we're going to start putting our tasks up here on the to-do list. And remember, this is just the limited set of features or the limited set of tasks that you're going to focus on in your project for the next period of time. It doesn't mean you ignore everything else on here. It just means that you narrow your focus for a period of time to get that work done, and then you'll come back to your backlog. Then let's say we decide that we need to work on another task over here, so we put that in the to-do column over here. Then we selected another task from the backlog and we put it over here. And then let's say we've selected another task and we put that over here in the to-do column. Now we have 4 tasks, and somehow we've got all the tasks listed in the backlog. That's fine, some sort of referencing system. But when you write the card, especially in your team meeting, make it very practical and very simple for somebody to come back to this board during the week and have a look and check what the task is that's been allocated to them. Now, you can set Kanban boards up in any way that you want. You can use the different colors to represent different people in a team. You could use the different colors to represent different work streams. You can also have different, what they call swim lanes, running along this Kanban board here. So in a certain swim lane, that would be work allocated to a certain individual or to a certain team or as a certain type of task. But let's keep this simple for the minute. And I once again would advise, if it's your first Kanban board, also just keep it very simple. Now, for your assignment, when you set up your Kanban board, it's highly likely that there's some tasks that are already in progress. And remember, what we're doing in this course is we're getting you going, we're getting you organized, we're getting you motivated. So I would like to see something in your progress column. So let's say, for example, that we know there is a task that's already in progress. So we stick it in there straight away. And let's say, for example, you having your team meeting, and as I always prefer to do it, we actually stood up around the board. I didn't let people sit down. If they sit down, they get too comfortable and the meeting takes too long. You typically want your stand-up meeting to take half an hour, 45 minutes maximum. First few meetings are going to take longer as you get your Kanban board going, but when you get into a regular, repetitive process of managing your Kanban board, it will get a lot quicker. So now we've set up our Kanban board. We've got 4 tasks in the to-do list. We've got 1 that is in progress. And now, what is the focus? The focus is to get tasks from this column of being in progress to the done column. Creating value is all about getting things done. That is the key. If you can get things done, you'll create value. As a project manager, if you can get your teams to complete tasks, you'll make progress in your project. If you have a personal project to complete, if you're writing a book, if you're running an event, whatever it is, you need to get tasks into the done column. In my productivity course, I talk about how you manage tasks in a notebook and how you need to tick off those tasks and show a difference between the tasks that you've listed in your notebook and the notes that you take in the rest of the pages. But for a visual representation of tasks that need to make progress, you cannot do better than a simple Kanban board. And we have one in our own family at home. We have a big family, and we track tasks and things that we need to do on a simple Kanban board. Now, when you meet as a team, you're going to look at the tasks that is in the to-do column. And as a team, you've agreed it's not the whole backlog. You could, at a later stage, agree that you need to put a task in the to-do column and you'd forgotten about it. But typically, once you've got tasks in the to-do column, those are the only ones that you should focus on. And as a team, you then agree when you meet in your stand-up, who is going to take accountability for getting a task into progress. And if in a meeting during the week, you agree that a task is going to go into progress, you then need to know that at the next meeting, that task has been put into the progress column. And so that task, and you could put the person's name on that task, or you know that a certain color belongs to a certain person, you can very clearly see that that task is in progress for that person. And likewise, you review all the tasks, and a key principle of Kanban boards is called limit work in progress. You want to limit how many tasks you put into the progress column. The simple reason for that is if you have too many tasks that are active over here, you're going to have analysis paralysis and you're going to have everybody focused on too many things. It's far better to limit the amount of tasks that are in progress, limit work in progress, and focus rather on getting those tasks from the progress column into the done column. Don't think that you are making progress just because you're putting a lot of tasks in progress. And you, as the Scrum Master or the project manager, or for yourself, you need to make sure that you are limiting the number of tasks that are in progress over here. And a key principle that people often struggle with is that they can't get tasks done because the task is too big in the first place. So make sure that you break tasks down so that they can get completed within about 2 weeks maximum. So when you're in your team meeting and you're discussing about which tasks to move through this Kanban process flow, make sure that when you word the task on the Kanban board, it can be done by that person within 2 weeks. And if any of these tasks are too big or they're getting stuck in this progress column over here, then you need to reevaluate that task and maybe break that task down into smaller tasks. And if there are sub-tasks within this task, then move them into the done once they get completed. And you'll see some progress on these tasks. Another approach is also to physically move the task within the progress column. So if it's just gone into the progress column, maybe by the time you meet again, it's nearly done, and it's imminent that at some point it's going to move into the done column. And you can visually show that progression of the task from the to-do column into progress, and ultimately and hopefully into done. Now, another reason that you limit how many tasks you bring in from your backlog is because other things will come up. People will come to the meetings and say, oh, I need to do this, or oh, I need to do that, or you in your own personal project have not thought of everything that needs to be done in the backlog. And so lo and behold, new tasks will arise because other tasks might be dependent on those tasks getting done. And so you sometimes move tasks back into the to-do column when you realize they're dependent on other tasks that need to go into the progress column. And typically in a team meeting, you're only going to uncover these things through that discussion, through that stand-up meeting. And if people are literally standing up and focused and engaged on this board and feeling uncomfortable because they've been on their feet for half an hour, you're going to get the answers that you need about what needs to be on this board to accurately reflect the state of the project and how well it is going. So let's say now, for example, we've added a few more tasks on here and we've had a couple of meetings and we've been moving tasks across the board. Ultimately, they get a little bit further on in the progress column and a task gets completed and it goes into the done column. And you celebrate that. And often when features are completed in a software engineering project, they ring a bell. And you should have some sort of celebration when tasks get done. Because what does that achieve? It creates momentum for these other tasks. And visually, when people see work flowing from left to right, they are encouraged that these tasks over here can move into the progress column, through the progress column, and ultimately into the done column over here. And as you go, as you what we call rinse and repeat, so you just consistently hold the stand-up meeting and review your Kanban board on a weekly or regular basis. And remember, there could be a digital version of this. So if you're meeting online using Microsoft Teams or Zoom, you would just have a digital representation of this board, and you, as the facilitator of that meeting, the project manager or the Scrum Master, you would see this on the screen and everybody else would see it as they were dialing into the meeting, and you would then be able to move these tasks across based on how people were responding to them and giving progress updates on those tasks. So let's say now these tasks are slowly moving across the Kanban board over here. You've got a couple more tasks that have been added in here, and maybe this task over here has been a bit stuck. It hasn't moved. Every week there's an update on it, but there isn't any movement. It doesn't go into the progress column. Sometimes, and I've done this before, you need to take it out of the to-do column and put it back here in the backlog. And that's a visual reminder to everybody that it's a good idea to limit the number of tasks that you focus on in the backlog. Because as you saw now, even though we put the tasks in there that we thought we could make progress on, this one just stubbornly refused to move into the progress column. And if you have tasks here that don't move, and again, whether it's in a team meeting or for yourself, then take them out of the to-do column. Don't demotivate yourself by looking at the same task every week and being frustrated by the simple fact that it's not moving into progress. So let's say a couple of these tasks had to go back on the backlog, and that's absolutely fine as long as other tasks here aren't dependent on those tasks. And that does often happen, and then as a team you need to focus on relieving the issues that are holding back these tasks over here. So let's say you realized that one of these tasks was dependent on this task, and it was only because you were discussing these tasks as a team and trying to make progress through this Kanban board and achieving the powerful visualization that it gives you, that everybody woke up and realized we need this task to make some progress. So somehow this one gets some progress and some focus, and it goes into that column over there. And then the following week comes back and it moves into the done column. And fantastic. Everybody is pleased now, because once that task is done, these tasks over here actually can jump straight into progress. So we move them straight into the progress column over here. Because that task there has been completed, we've got maybe a couple of tasks over here that still need to be done, and they manage to make some progress, and ultimately we are able to get more and more tasks over here in the done column. And this is where you start seeing the progression of work from one side of a Kanban board to the other side. And what is that called? That is called cadence. Now, cadence is not speed. Cadence is just the regular repetition. Cadence is on a bicycle when you're turning your pedals. You turn at a constant speed, but you gear up or down depending on whether you're going up or downhill, and the speed of the wheels turning might change, but your cadence on the pedals doesn't change. Same with Kanban boards, same with agile principles, same with getting things done. Your cadence should be consistent. So if you meet twice a week, 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, never miss those meetings. Never miss the regular, repetitive, consistent focus on analyzing and managing the flow of work through the detailed breakdown of tasks and the allocation of those tasks to individual through these three buckets. It's not the color of the stickies. It's not the tool that you use. It's not whether you stand up or sit down, although I do believe that's quite important. It's the consistent, repetitive application of Kanban board principles that are going to make you achieve some progress in your Kanban board application into a project. And then you come back to your backlog and you say, well, we've now got through those tasks over there, and that was a set of tasks or a portion of your project that has been completed. And you then clear the Kanban board and you start again and you say, okay, let's look at these tasks over here. Let's get them into the to-do column. Let's get those into the progress column, and ultimately let's get those into the done column over there. And remember, the important thing, what I found useful, is just to put people's names up here. So there's no debate about who needs to do these tasks. You simply write them over here and make sure that it's visual and clear to everybody who's responsible for those tasks. And then the simple team meeting that you have is to say, okay, Bob, how is your task going? And why have we not been able to move it into the done column? And remember, it's not necessarily just to you that they've got to be accountable for making progress on that task. It's to everybody, because this task may be a key task for the rest of them. It may be a key task in this backlog. And so Bob, in this case, for task number 7, is accountable to the whole team. But of course, remember, if it's just you that's got to deliver all these tasks, then you are going to be accountable for all of those. And that's absolutely fine. You can use the different colors to understand the different aspects of the project that you're managing overall, so that you can get them from your backlog into your done column and make some progress.